Johannesburg, the South Africa-Italy summit saw delegates agreeing on the importance of strengthening trade and investment relations between South Africa and Italy, the fourth largest economy in the Eurozone area.
I've been created this summit 4 years ago. This is the fourth edition, and we are trying to be sure that this summit will continue to happen in many years in the future, because we want to accomplish the most important goal, which is to consolidate a leadership, a group of leaders of this country and Italy, a community of leaders that can influence the economic agenda of the two countries. This is the main long-term goal. In the short-term goal, we want to facilitate investments from Italy into South Africa.
Take me through the relationship between Italy and South Africa and the history behind it.
Well, the history is very long. Socially is extremely long, because in Italy we hosted your Patriots for many years in Reggio Emilia. Actually, we will have a delegation from Reggio Emilia as usual this year. But given this, we have a long friendship, which has become today an economic friendship. We have a lot of investments in many sectors, in automotive, in mechanics, in wine and oil, in food. The relationship is very good. There are also South African entrepreneurs that are of Italian origin, like Mr. Ravazzotti of Italtile, and today this is a South African company, but the imprinting is Italian. So the relationship is very good. We wanted to leverage this relationship, to use this relationship to improve even more the investments. And I think that even more important is the fact that together, I mean, Italian and South African entrepreneurs working together in SADC countries, in Sub-Saharan Africa, can do better, faster and more effectively.
South Africa continues to face many challenges politically and economically. What sort of impact have those challenges had on your relationship with South Africa?
Well, 2-3 years ago, South Africa was an important spot on the mental radar of Italian entrepreneurs. Today, that spot, the brilliance of that spot has decreased. I don't want to say significantly, but it has decreased. With our summit, we want to keep alive that spot on the radar map. Definitely, their attention has been reduced, because an Italian investor, an Italian company, has a lot of opportunities across the world. Of course, they want to maximize the opportunities, and here the opportunities are very big, but also they want to minimize the risk. And rightly or wrongly, the perception is that the risk has increased.
What would you like to see happen to increase FDI between the two countries?
Well, I think that what we would like to happen is a stable leadership with clear ideas and long-term goals that state exactly what they want from foreign investors.
Gauteng Premier David Makhura was proud to host the summit for the second time in the province.
We have a number of key objectives. We have a provincial economic development plan that identifies major sectors of the economy which we want to stimulate. We want those sectors to grow. We also want to increase export in those sectors, and agro-processing is one of them. Italians, as you would know, are very good in the area of food production, but also advanced manufacturing, including heavy equipment, capital equipment. We have a very competitive capital equipment and machinery factor as Gauteng province, but the Italians do the same. So we also know that Italy is the biggest economy with regard to the role of SMMEs in the economy. Italy is the #1 economy in the world, about how family-owned enterprises, small enterprises, are the key driver of growth and development of the Italian economy. We face major challenges in our economy. We talk here in Gauteng about the township economy, the revival of township businesses, and the growth of new township enterprises amongst youth, amongst women, which must be at the heart of the new South African economy, which we are building. We're building a new economy, and that should be an economy that doesn't marginalize the overwhelming majority of our country. So Italy is a very good example Italy also has a very dynamic and thriving cooperative movement, the cooperative sector of the Italian economy. You have major cooperatives in Italy that are institutionally supported even by universities. We're also building a cooperative movement in this country. So as we transform our economy, as we reindustrialize our province, as we modernize the economy of our province to keep pace with the needs and demands and challenges of the fourth industrial revolution. The summit is an opportunity for us, firstly, to create dialogue amongst business people. So the people you see here run businesses, black and white. They run their own businesses, and many of them are trying to enter the export market. Many of them are exporting from our province into the continent, but they want to grow. They also want access to markets in the European Union, in the Eurozone area. Italy is a major economy. It's the fourth biggest economy in the Eurozone area. But we also have historical and cultural ties with the Italians. The Italians supported the struggle for liberation in our country, the city of Reggio Emilia, the city of Florence. So we're saying to them, in the past we worked together to overthrow apartheid. Now we face poverty, we face unemployment, we face inequality. These are the major new social ills of post-apartheid South Africa. Let's work together, and we are working with them. So this summit is adding a great deal of value. In addition to the economy, we also have parallel programs. We are working on early childhood development with the Italian organizations that are involved in what is called the best practice, global practice with regard to early childhood development, what's called the Reggio approach. So we're also doing some work there. We also, with regard to sports, we have South African youth who are doing exchange programs from our townships here with the Italian youth in different areas of sports and culture. So it's a very deep relationship that starts at a national level, but we're taking it to our region. So the Gauteng provincial government has signed a cooperation agreement with the region of Emilia-Romagna. Ekurhuleni city also has an agreement with the city of Reggio Emilia. In all those agreements, it's about economic development, it's about social cohesion, it's about issues of education as well. And how do we include, how do we build a more inclusive economy? How do we tackle unemployment? And the ideal is that every household must have it in the back of their minds, as you have in Italy. In every household, there's one type of business or the other. So our vision is that in Gauteng, when we build this new province, in every household, even those who are giving the government houses that we are building, they must think that a portion of the house must be, they must set up a business, operate a business. Because when you have that, when you have an effort where every household thinks about what is it that we can produce, we can sell to meet the needs of the market, we would not have the level of poverty that we have and the level of social ills that we have. So it's important that we do everything, and that's what we are doing. This is just one initiative, the South Africa-Italy initiative. But we have many initiatives in the SADC region. We have the Zambians here, we have the Namibians here. We are working together. Not so long, I was in Ghana and Nigeria. We're also working in our own continent to strengthen trade, inter-Africa trade, to strengthen investments. I was talking about the figures of how many companies in Gauteng, 169 companies, are investing in the different parts of the continent. to the value of 350 billion rands. That's significant. So if we as Africans, in addition to working with the important economies in Europe, in Asia, in the Americas, but we also have to invest in our own continent. So the South Africa-Italy summit also brings together major SADC economies into a conversation with the European Union economies. So that's why you have the SADC Executive Secretary here, and then you have the ambassador, the EU ambassador to South Africa. So at one level is region to region. We have some of the governors, like the governor of a region in Namibia, region to region, and then city to city. You also then have country to country, and you have the region as of the whole SADC region to the EU, and continent to continent. So this is a major initiative for us.
In 2015 alone, exports from Gauteng to Italy amounted to 8 billion rand, which included products such as iron and steel, vegetables, machinery and mineral products. Imports from Italy to Gauteng amounted to 19 billion rand and included products such as vehicles, aircraft, chemicals, plastic and rubber. Bilateral trade between Italy and South Africa continues to grow, placing logistics and infrastructure in the spotlight.
We're spending quite a lot of money in terms of infrastructure development in the country, basically to move a lot of traffic from road to rail, because it's quite important that in terms of carbon footprints and the emissions that we see from road, that those goods must move into the rail sector. We're making very good progress, especially in our container and automotive sector. We're seeing very positive growth, and I think that the people of South Africa are beginning to feel that there's less truck congestion on our roads as we begin to move more volumes on rail.
Transnet's vision is to become a truly digital organization. Take me through some of the projects that are already underway. What is Transnet 4.0 about?
Transnet 4.0 is really about extending the current geographical footprint of Transnet into other countries, especially in Africa and the Middle East and Asia. But also beginning to deepen our value chain in terms of looking at missing capabilities within Transnet and trying to acquire some smaller niche players across the value chain so that we can become a 4PL player. We are making very good progress on that. And then on the digital space, we are looking at blockchain technology, especially for trade facilitation and transport. We are looking at a port and rail community system that interfaces the different people who are involved in trade, a lot of track and trace technology, and a lot of the data analytics that accompany companies that are trying to become more efficient. We're looking at the remote monitoring of our maintenance facilities, the conditioning of our infrastructure. There's a whole range of exciting and interesting things that our R&D people are working on in our laboratories at the CSIR in Pretoria, which we will unleash. So the digital space is one that we want to embrace, and we want to make sure that we become more competitive, but importantly to become more cost effective with our customers, so that our customers can become competitive in the industries and in the markets in which they operate in.
A number of MOUs have been signed with our neighboring countries. What's being done in terms of the movement from road to rail?
We are making some very good progress. Just last week, the Zimbabwean cabinet made a decision that Transnet and DDIG, which is a diaspora-based infrastructure group, will revitalize the Zimbabwean railways. We will be supplying them with new rolling stock wagons and locomotives, as well as upgrading the infrastructure and bringing in new maintenance philosophies, working side by side with the Zimbabwean railways. Also in Zambia, a very similar thing is going to be happening there. In Nigeria, a very big project in a consortium that is led by GE, where we are part of that consortium with AP Mula. So there's a number of projects in Kenya, in Tanzania, as well as Senegal that we are looking at as a country. So I'm quite excited that on the region we seem to be making very good progress. And I think when we deal with the infrastructure bottlenecks in our region, we are going to make logistics much more competitive. We are going to make the standards of living of those people to rise. But importantly, we'll see GDP growth and general unemployment reduction as a result of the many projects that we are dealing with in the region.
How is Transnet including previously disadvantaged citizens and empowering those people as well?
We have some very robust supplier development programs as well as enterprise development programs. Especially what we want to do now is to focus on women, youth, as well as the disabled, because that is one area where we have not made too much of an impact. We are working very hard to make sure that people can work with Transnet. In fact, at the moment, we're just having the Transnet Indaba at Esselen Park, where we are dealing with communities, showing people what opportunities are there in Transnet, also doing career guidance in terms of high school children to be able to understand the length and breadth of opportunities in maritime, rail, port and pipeline that we have in Transnet. But also we want more people to do business with us, and we have a number of programs that also support new entrepreneurs. We work with Gibbs, we work with Wits University as well to teach people entrepreneurship, look at how to do bids, how to write business plans, how to prepare cash flow statements, just the general sort of issues that people need to understand to run businesses successfully.
And finally, what lessons can Transnet teach to our Italian counterparts?
I think, as you know, South Africa is ranked number 20 in terms of the World Bank Logistics Competitiveness Report, and Italy is ranked a close 21st. So I think in the area of logistics, there's quite a lot to share. We buy, for instance, certain equipment from Italy, but as we sit here, we're also looking at what opportunities can we have as South Africans where we can go and invest in Italian industry and be able to have a concomitant partnership with them where each of us can share skills and share our experiences and try to make sure that the South Africa and Italy relationship is one which is win-win, where both parties can actually benefit.
Gauteng MEC for Economic Development, Lebogang Maile, recently unpacked the 2017 Environment Outlook report. He addressed issues of poor water and air quality and waste management in the province. CNBC Africa's Lubabalo Mashikana brings us this report.
In the richest province in Africa, the problem most have is poor water. People in Alexandra Township wash in whatever water they can find, no matter how filthy it can be. This is Gauteng, the province that takes in Johannesburg. It is home to more than 12 million people. Most of them have to suffer this. Pollution and poor waste management stalk most highly populated communities around one of Africa's biggest cities. The big question is, what are the people in charge doing about it? The provincial government hopes at least some of the answers will be contained in its new environmental report that it launched at a Johannesburg hotel.
So the first important thing is to ensure that there is that proper coordination. But the second thing is to make sure that everybody who's supposed to do something, for instance, if you look at the Department of Transport, dealing with issues of non-motorized transport, they are providing bicycles, for instance, they are doing their part. You look at our Department of Infrastructure, they are providing renewable energy. The Department of Human Settlement, making sure that the houses are green and all that. So it's about coordination. It's not like government is not doing anything at all.
It appears that the poor are bearing the brunt, increasing the cost of health care.
For example, around about 2014, there was a study that indicated that the Department of Health spends about 4 billion per annum dealing with the disease load burden that is related to poor air quality. And there's also a study by the World Health Organization that indicated that in South Africa per annum we lose about 20,000 people related to respiratory diseases. So environment is a social economic issue that as a Gauteng provincial government we must deal with, because it's got both social and economic impacts to the lives of the citizens.
Critics say this report says little that is new and contains few plans to do anything about it.
But the biggest challenge that we have as South Africa, and especially from the government perspective, is that a lot of government departments that are mandated with environmental management continue working in isolation. So they continue working in silos. And because of working in silos, then there's always this gap in terms of who's supposed to be doing what and who's supposed to be doing that.
What it means is that nearly a quarter of a century after freedom dawned over South Africa, many of the people who voted for this can't even find water they can trust.
The Department of Tourism is fighting back. Following the robbery of a Dutch tourist late last month, it is teaming up with the Gauteng Tourism Authority to create job opportunities for unemployed youth and address safety issues.
In one of South Africa's iconic tourism sites, with great significance, Vilakazi Street, in the heart of Soweto. Behind me are two houses that belong to two of the greatest struggle icons, Nelson Mandela and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. According to the PwC's Hospitality Outlook, travel and tourism is expected to contribute 9.4% to the GDP of South Africa in 2017. Great news considering South Africa's recent sovereign ratings downgrade. But the last month robbery of a group of Dutch tourists threatened to disrupt this momentum.
We've set aside a budget of 52.7 million, and we have partnered with Gauteng Tourism Authority, which are going to be implementers of the program. At the moment, it's just the National Department of Tourism. It's part of our expanded public works program, and each recipient will be going home with a stipend of about 3,600 a month.
The MEC for Community Safety, Sizakele Nkosi Malobane, outlined that they will equip the monitors with skills to be able to also aid in ensuring safety.
Part of the training that we are giving these young people is safety, is them becoming safety ambassadors. They will be deployed in tourist places to give guidance to tourists, but also to assist tourists from not becoming victims of crime by providing safety tips, but also by escorting them to areas where they believe it might be unsafe.
And these are the Tourism Brigade, an army of 200 strong young men and women who will be trained as tourism monitors and placed at different tourism destinations around Johannesburg. And their first disarming charm will be a smile.
It definitely means a lot. It's a learnership for 3 years, which will be awarded and accredited. On top of that, we'll be having trainings, possibly about 3 to 4 trainings, which will also be accredited for. So we'll be able to develop our skills and hopefully going forward be able to open up our own businesses when it comes to safety and security, who knows.
South Africa has one of the highest youth unemployment rates in the world, and tourism could form part of the solution to SA's joblessness. The country's tourism industry is one of the major job creation sectors. Its death means an increase in the forever inclining unemployment rate. Apart from job creation and ensuring safety, this initiative could aid in restoring faith in South Africa's slowly dying tourism. Lubabalo Mashiqana, CNBC Africa, Soweto.
Visit us at cnbcafrica.com for more reports on the Gauteng City region.